In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains lies the village of Last Hilltop, a place shrouded in mist and ancient lore. The villagers whisper of a graveyard that emerges every 5 years, a spectral sight that materializes under the cold light of the moon from midnight until 3 a.m. The tales of this graveyard, once dismissed as mere superstition, have become a chilling reality for those who have encountered its haunting presence. Last Hilltop was an unremarkable village, its history marked by a quiet existence. But every 5 years, the serenity of the village was shattered by the sudden appearance of an otherworldly graveyard. It was said to rise from the earth like a vengeful spirit, the gravestones covered in moss and the air thick with the scent of decay. The villagers, bound by a generational fear, would lock their doors and shutter their windows, dreading the midnight hour when the graveyard would claim its victims. The legend spoke of a curse laid upon the land by a grieving witch, whose child was wrongfully accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake. In her anguish, she summoned dark forces to exact her revenge, cursing the village with the vanishing graveyard that would return every 5 years to hunt for souls. It was the 5th year, and the village of Last Hilltop was on edge. The air was heavy with anticipation, and an unnatural stillness settled over the town. Lucy, a young woman new to the village, had always dismissed the old legends as mere folklore. But that night, she would learn that some stories are rooted in a terrifying reality. As the clock struck midnight, a dense fog rolled in, enveloping the village in an eerie silence. Lucy, curious and skeptical, decided to venture out despite the warnings. She made her way to the old cemetery at the edge of town, drawn by an inexplicable force. As she approached, she saw the ground tremble and split open, revealing the vanishing graveyard in all its macabre glory. Gravestones twisted and turned, the names of the long dead glowing faintly in the moonlight. Lucy felt a chill run down her spine as she realized that the dates on the gravestones were from the future, marking the demise of villagers who were still alive. She turned to run, but the fog thickened, and the air grew colder. Lucy's heart pounded as ghostly figures emerged from the mist, their hollow eyes fixed on her. They were the souls of those claimed by the graveyard, trapped in a nightmarish limbo. The spirits reached out with skeletal hands, their whispers a cacophony of despair and sorrow. She stumbled through the graveyard, the ground beneath her feet feeling like quicksand. The air was thick with the stench of rot, and the trees around her seemed to close in, their branches like skeletal fingers. She could hear the distant tolling of a bell, its sound echoing through the night, a harbinger of doom. Desperation took hold as Lucy realized there was no escape. The spirits closed in, their voices rising to a crescendo. She could feel their icy touch, each contact draining her of warmth and hope. The ground beneath her feet gave way, and she fell into an open grave, the earth like a suffocating shroud. When the first light of dawn pierced the fog, the graveyard vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. The villagers emerged from their homes, their faces pale with fear. They found Lucy's house empty, her bed untouched. The old-timers shook their heads knowingly, their eyes filled with sorrow. The legend of the vanishing graveyard grew stronger, a fresh tale added to its lore. Every 5 years, the villagers would remember Lucy and the others who had been taken. The new generation, skeptical and curious, would hear the stories and wonder if they were true. But those who had lived through the terror knew better. They knew that when the graveyard appeared again, it would hunt for more souls, and the curse of the grieving witch would continue to haunt Last Hilltop forever.